This is James Dalton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to join with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I enjoyed it tonight. Something a bit different, just trying to, be a little bit different, if you like, and just stop the traditional boring stuff and try and bring you a little bit of a better narrative for the show. Great fight, Catterall Barboza next Saturday, brilliant undercard, and looking forward to it.
I see you mentioned there's something different, the face-off today live. We normally see it on YouTube or on the TV, there's a programme slot in there. But doing it live, that live audience, there's a moment where the two sort of went a little bit back and forth, and they stared each other in the eyes, and you just kept silent. And it was almost a genius move from you, Eddie.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't intentional, I just didn't know what to say. So I just kept quiet for once. I feel that, look, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm average at other things, but one of the things I can do is that kind of stuff. And I feel like as a promoter, there's not many promoters that can do that, let alone address a press conference on their own. So I'm the one selling the show, I'm the one building the narrative, and that helps me do it. And I thought, if you didn't know about the fight and you watched that, you'd be interested in the fight. You understand the position of both fighters, you understand the mentality, the jeopardy, and it's a really good fight next Saturday, a great card as well in Manchester.
Barboza's.
Sorry?
What was Oscar?
I don't know, I think he'll be here for the fight. I mean, we've got 3 Golden Boy Matchroom fights coming up. We've got Catterall Barboza, we've got Schofield against Shakur, and we've got Ortiz against Madrimov. 3 brilliant fights. So I don't know if he's coming to Manchester, but it may work for him stopping on the way over to Riyadh. So obviously he's more than welcome, and we'll be screaming and shouting for those 3 fights, and hopefully we can get the win.
How is that relationship now, and how are talks for this potential October 5v5? Obviously, top
October. I mean, yeah, good. I mean, look, I think he kind of, the clapback stuff, he really goes for it. I think it's quite amusing most of the time. And when we was in Riyadh, we've never really, one of the problems with these relationships is we don't really speak. So all you see is online interviews, me slagging him off, him slagging me off. And it's like, you're only going to dislike someone. But then when you kind of have a chat, and then it's all of a sudden, look, let's put all this behind us, almost like His Excellency, like he did with me and Frank. Then you actually start spending time with people. Like generally you find, generally the reaction is, oh, they're all right actually, like, I don't mind him. And that was the same with me and Frank. So I've always felt that us and Golden Boy have the potential to make brilliant matchups. And we're on the same platform. So now you've seen those 3, and hopefully it will lead to a 5v5. When we see each other in Riyadh next week, hopefully we can get in front of His Excellency and close that concept for the late summer in America.
Speaking of you and Frank, is this Ando Kakachi, Sugar Nunez stuff the first wee blip in the new bromance?
No, I mean, I've got to be honest at the same time. It's not Frank Warren's decision. Yeah, but at the same time, I know, because I speak to George, Anto was given the option. Okay, now, it was more money to fight Lee Wood, but it wasn't a huge difference. But he just fancied the Lee Wood fight. For me, I'm going to be upset, aren't I? Because I've got Sugar Nunez. I feel like he's been messed around. I feel like as a champion, you should be fighting your mandatories and you should be trying to unify the division. And by the way, Sugar Nunez against Anto Kakachi is a brilliant fight. And I rate Anto Kakachi. I think he's a great fighter. But I just don't agree with the decision. And you can't, as a true boxing fan, try and justify that decision to me. Because if I did that with one of my fighters, you lot, not necessarily, but like fans would be ripping, your fighter's a pussy, he's ducked Sugar Nunez. But like when it's one of my fighters, it's almost like, oh, it's okay because it was better money. It's like, fuck me, I'll say that next time, you lot will go mad. The reality is, you should fight your mandatories, you should fight the real fights. Anto Kakachi could have fought Nunez in Belfast in an absolute thriller. And guess what, if he beat him, he would unify in mega fights. Instead, he's fighting Lee Wood for nothing, no belt. That lifelong dream, he just put it in the bin and went, I don't fancy Sugar Nunez, there's a few more quid there, I'll do that instead.
Last one from me, Eddie. Now, I watched your interview with Coogan the other day, and you said there's no way you can't have Canelo Alvarez in at least your top 5. You're also saying now his run over the past couple of years isn't that of a pound-for-pound fighter. Is Canelo Alvarez's run, particularly if it ends in Jake Paul, since he lost to Dimitri Bivol, that of a pound-for-pound fighter, you think?
I am biased because I like Canelo Alvarez, and that's just being honest. And I think what he has done in his career, he's proven everything, right? His resume is unbelievable. And if you want to make 100 million to fight Jake Paul, right? Like the thing is about Canelo, he don't tell any lies. He's very transparent. right? He's not going to try and justify this fight to you that, no, what I'm doing is I'm doing it to bring boxing to a wider audience. No, he's doing it for a sackload of money. So whenever you put an opponent forward to Canelo Alvarez, his question is, how much? And if he's a businessman at this stage in his career, right? And at the end of the day, someone is offering him, whatever it will be, 80 million, 100 million, 120, to fight Jake Paul. A fight in which there is absolutely no risk. And by the way, you can't criticise Jake Paul. Because the criticism for Jake Paul has always been, when are you going to fight someone decent? Well, guess what? He might be fighting Canelo Alvarez. I don't hate it. I'll be watching.
Maybe time to give up the belts though, if that's the fights he's taking.
Yeah, maybe. It might be his last fight. Who knows?
Eddie, when you talk about that Jake Paul Canelo fight, at this stage in boxing, no one's surprised that a fight like that's getting made. And I know you've gone out and said you do respect Jake Paul for getting in there. Canelo's a totally different beast to, definitely out of his prime Mike Tyson. Just talk about how much respect you would have for Jake for taking that fight.
Well, only respect because of the money. I mean, he's not doing it for free. He's not doing it because he wants to prove himself as a great fighter. He's doing it for 100 mil as well, or whatever he's getting. Do you know what I mean?
It's a very, very scary
Yeah,
fight.
it's dangerous, and he's going to get spanked.
How many rounds?
However many Canelo wants it to be. I mean, the only thing is, Jake's going to be a lot heavier, bigger. But you're not, listen, no disrespect to Jake's ability as a fighter. He's fighting Canelo Alvarez, who is one of the top fighters in the world. So, he's going to get spanked, but he's going to make a lot of money whilst receiving the spanking.
What's your perspective on the Terence Crawford not happening? Are you disappointed?
Who knows? Don't listen. One day it's not happening. Tomorrow it could be happening. Maybe the Jake Paul fight put people's nose out of joint, and I don't know. But the reality is the fight's much bigger than Crawford against Canelo. But for boxing fans, it's not at all. For boxing fans, Canelo Crawford is one of the best fights that could ever get made. But I know Canelo, and if that fight's on the table for that kind of money, he's going to take it.
Is Canelo Jake Paul a dangerous fight though, given how long Jake Paul's been training in comparison to Canelo Alvarez?
It depends what Canelo does. If Canelo wants to lay a beating on him, it'll be brutal to watch. But a lot of people will enjoy watching that.
Eddie, what happened when Martin McCauley sparred AJ? Martin said he had his legs up.
Apparently I was there. Bacoli hit him with a left hook, wobbled AJ, and I had my jaw open. I don't even remember watching it. I mean, I think maybe once I walked in and saw them two for 20 or 30 seconds. Never seen Bacoli hit AJ with a big shot. I don't think I've ever seen AJ hit. It was literally, I don't even know, I can't even remember how long I watched it for when I went in. But, by the way, they had tremendous spars. Bacoli's a good fighter. But, Bacoli's doing what I would do if I was Bacoli. I would attach my name to AJ and I would ride the coattails and I would get as much clout as I could off AJ's name. And that's what Bacoli's doing, and I don't rule the fight out.
Do all the people saying, AJ shouldn't fight him, what's in it fighting Martin McCauley, does that make it more likely that AJ might take the bait and fight him?
Because guess what, in the past, AJ shouldn't have the rematch with Ruiz straight away. AJ shouldn't fight Usyk the first time. AJ shouldn't fight Usyk the second time. AJ shouldn't fight Dubois again, and he will. He wants, he don't care who he fights, he wants to fight the best, and he loves the Bacoli fight. We won't rule it out.
Is there any news on Wilder?
No, not at all. Someone said he's fighting coming up. I don't know. But if he is, I understand. If Wilder gets a win, we don't rule that out either. AJ will fight anyone. Not a problem.
Just a quick one. You was talking about Sergey Lipinets being shot, and I was watching the comments on the Matchroom YouTube channel. Somebody commented that he beat Robbie Davis Jr. is fighting Pat McCormack. So what does that mean?
He got dropped against Robbie Davis Jr. and it was a very, very close fight where Robbie Davis Jr. was flying over the other side of the world to take that fight, and he's fighting Pat McCormack, who's had 6 fights, 7 fights. So, by the way, when I say he's shot, it's just not the fighter that he was. I thought Adam Azim looked fantastic. I think Adam Azim is a brilliant fighter. But please, don't ever say, we beat Dalton Smith 100%, we batter him, we stop him. But you've got to let that fight marinate a little bit. Why? Or we'll take that fight, but only if His Excellency pays a lot of money. Do you realise what that fight could do for both fighters? If you truly believe you win that fight, you could become a superstar off the back of that. That could sell out Hillsborough, could sell out the O2. They're going to make an absolute fortune, and we're mandatory. Adam Azim's the IBO champion. He's just been stripped of all his rankings in the governing body, if he had any. He's 2 years away or more for fighting for a world title. Dalton's got that position, but we'll risk it because we think we win. By the way, It's a very tough fight for Dalton, and it's a very tough fight for Adam Azim. But ain't it a great fight? I mean, like you lot, you make me laugh because it's like you're trying to justify why that fight shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be saying to these guys, we love that. Like, can't we do that next?
You know, from speaking to both camps, they want to get paid millions rather than thousands.
But you've got to invest in yourself to make the millions. You can't just fight Sergey Lipinets or Waza for the European title and think you're going to step up and make 7 figures. That fight, if that does the gate it does, they're going to make a fortune, more money than they've ever experienced before. But you've got to be willing to take those kind of fights to take you to the next level. You know, again, you're speaking on behalf of, like, you're trying to justify the fact that you've got 2 undefeated British fighters that should naturally be fighting each other, and it's like, yeah, but they should be getting millions and millions for that. Why not have that fight for a load of money, and then your next one, you're going to be a mega star and bring world champions to your backyard, if you truly believe you're going to win the fight. So I don't mind. I wouldn't mind Shane McGuigan and those guys coming out and going, that's a very dangerous fight. I think at this stage in a career, maybe we need 1 or 2 more before we go in there. But don't say, we beat him easy, we stop him. Dalton Smith, I'm watching you, you're not very good. It's on a plate. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they truly believe. I think they're starting to believe, because that was a great performance. And I can't tell you categorically Dalton wins. I think he does. But I'll tell you what, I'd fucking love to see it. And that's what I'm in the game for.
Eddie, last one from me. What's your opinion on the Ryan Garcia versus Rowley fight?
What do I think of it? It's all right. You know, Ryan's coming back. I think he wins quite comfortably.
Does he win on Saturday?
I hope so. It's a terrible fight for him. Terrible style. But hopefully they'll work and find a way. I won't be there, no, but I'll be watching. Cheers, boys.